I've realized that some of the information that I thought I knew as like fact is actually wrong. Today I'm going over workout tips I regret giving you because I was wrong.
It's time now to turn this mush into muscles.
What is more surreal than seeing Wenger skin Zidane is a YouTuber with millions of subscribers saying, I was wrong, I've made mistakes, and I should not have given this information. Hence this video, which I believe can be very poignant for debate and discussion. After all, and as I say so much throughout my videos, there is no messiah in fitness. Sorry, hold on a minute. It's Jim, cancel. And indeed, if we embrace the scientific approach, we should embrace being wrong with our information and therefore search for a better, more valid form of information and communication to our audience. Really, Stepani? Cancel.
Over the course of the past 2 years, I really have understood that I need to do a better job in giving you better fitness information. Now, at the end of the day, I still feel like I know more about fitness, I know more about nutrition, I know more about diet than the majority of people on YouTube. That being said, I need to do a better job because if I'm going to be saying something, it needs to be accurate. I'm just basically here to apologize for not doing my homework, doing the research, and staying as current and up to date on something as important as you and your fitness.
And so whilst on one hand, what Alpha M has done is very admirable and it's really nice to see this type of stuff. On the other hand, I'm not completely sold yet, and I'll explain why. In England, we have a phrase, sitting on the fence, which does sound awkward. And so I'm going to sit on the fence with Alpha M's fitness information until we see what he puts out next. What he did in this video, as I said, takes some guts. It takes some courage to say, I was wrong, I've made mistakes, I shouldn't have said these things. But I think the real test over time, the old litmus test, will be the future videos he puts out into training and supplementation. And it's the supplementation which I think is the real issue that many people have with Alpha M's information. And he has this relationship with bodybuilding.com. That's fine. Of course you can sell products and services. Of course you can be sponsored. But for me, it can't be at the sacrifice of giving correct information. And so this video is not to troll Alpha M or anything like that. It's purely being made because I want to open out this discussion and debate to perhaps a different type of community, such as this community, more fitness-based, which breaches out more than his fashion-based community, to see what you think. And also his thumbnail fits my thumbnail style perfectly. So I stole his thumbnail for this video. Sorry, that was really inappropriate. I shouldn't have said that. I V-shredded it. That's better. And so let's start with the really unfortunate thing in his video, which I think again takes away from some of its credibility, which is why I'm sitting on the old fence.
Link down below to our bodybuilding.com landing page where you're going to find my list of the top 10 supplements to build a better body.
And again, he does reference supplements from a certain website that he's affiliated with. And I have shown in some of my previous videos how he does promote CLA and L-carnitine for fat loss, both of which not effective for fat loss purposes, and he actually recommends stacking them. And I have to strongly disagree with Alpha M, who actually promotes stacking L-carnitine and CLA together.
Conjugated linoleic acid along with L-carnitine. These two products are a fat-burning dynamic duo.
Physiology is not easily tricked. That is perhaps the most horrific stacking there could ever be. I just don't agree with the way that he projects and sells these supplements, and in many cases, his information is plain wrong. It's not evidence-based. It's not based in science. It is bro science. And so at this point, I think it is poignant to announce my official affiliation with a fantastic supplement, and it goes by the name of water. Yeah, gonna go with that one. And so in his video, he touches on many concepts and pieces of information related to training that he's given over the years. However, he really just skims the surface with these ideas. He doesn't go into depth. However, he does give some good context, even though it's not in depth in nature, as to why he should not have given these ideas in the past. And there's a slight diversion. I divert a lot in my videos. I would like to thank the very kind people who send me stuff like this as they enjoy seeing my brain go catabolic. Someone owes Bart Simpson some royalty checks.
Upright rows, right? Zipping up a jacket. I've actually said that multiple times. Get those elbows up and all that good stuff. Once again, it's a matter of risk reward. And if your shoulders are the least bit unhealthy, It's a terrible exercise.
And so watching his video, and I'm speculating in this section, it's almost as though some people close to him have had a word with him, or maybe he's been researching and reading more. Maybe he's been watching some other fitness YouTube channels, evidence-based science fitness YouTube channels, which may help him. And interestingly, he does talk about bro science. And I see where he's coming from when he says that in the old days, when he started training people, learning about fitness, etc., you're relying on the bodybuilding magazines, the Schwarzenegger type era, or the Weider publications. Is it Weider? Who knows?
Back then, we didn't have the internet. It was just getting started, and a lot of the information and research that we had were books and magazines and people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Dorian Yates. It was like whispered down the fitness lane, right? We all kind of learned from our wrestling coaches and our football coaches in the weight room, and this is where we learned about diet and nutrition and working out and building muscle. Bro science. A lot of it was bro science.
Whereas now we have more open communication with the internet. We have access to research papers, and we can read articles from scientists. We can look at evidence-based information. We can look at meta-analysis. We have a far bigger pool of knowledge now, an accessible pool of knowledge to have better information.
I have recommended countless times doing behind the neck shoulder press. It's an exercise that I love. It's an exercise that I still do. But unfortunately, it is not something that I should be recommending. And honestly, it's a little bit negligent, in my opinion, at this point. If you are completely healthy, I think that you can perform that exercise and get benefit from it. But it's one of those things where the risk doesn't necessarily outweigh the reward.
And he projects the information very, very well. He says it's something he does, but again, he's talking to a wider audience, so he can't specifically promote that because there can be issues. There is risk reward, and he talks about risk reward with the exercises he previously talked about and now regrets doing. And that's very, very good. That's a great way of communicating information based on risk, reward, and variability. He also mentions Jeff from AthleanX as a good source of information. Again, a very good thing to communicate. I think by now we've established Cavalier's very good. And so whilst I agree with him that he should not be communicating these as set in stone exercises that his audience should do, that's very, very good. Again, we have to be careful by bastardizing. That is not a word, but I'm going to go with it. Bastardizing certain exercises as perhaps ineffective or dangerous. We have to remember it's on a spectrum. It heavily depends on the people who are using it, your characteristics. And so these exercises are not bad. However, they can have a high risk reward to them. And so, of course, it's worth considering these factors when you are thinking about your exercise selection.
And what you should be doing when performing any exercise, including bench press, is wrapping that thumb. Now, for me, the reason I do it is because it's something that I've done for years and I'm comfortable. But it's not something I should recommend or tell you to do. Also, lifting your legs up and crossing them, not a great idea if you're looking to bench press for strength.
His form that he shows in this is not good, and you have to be really careful when you give exercise tutorials on YouTube.
That workout is not for beginners. That being said, in the tailored program, the 6 weeks to living lean that I developed, I do have beginner information and tips for you guys just starting out. But that workout that they show, definitely not beginners.
And he talks about how he should have been doing more deadlifting in the past and how he's doing more deadlifting now and the benefits he's received.
Should have been recommending and focusing more on deadlifts.
And really just compounds, the importance of compound lifts now. Now, again, I'm going to speculate here. Perhaps this is as a reaction to the criticism he had from his bb.com video where he used bro splits. Again, I've linked my video response to his workout below, and I think he was overly criticized. I think some of the criticisms were fair in some case, for example, the bench press, and he does correct that in this video, as well as having the feet up in the air, etc. Again, it depends on what he does in the future. And then he touches on nutrition, again, not in depth, and he says in the past, he was overly worried about missing a meal.
Your muscles are not precious little snowflakes that are just going to evaporate as soon as you miss a meal.
And so a way I like to project this, how nutrition for most people who are looking for body recomposition, not athletes. Athletes are a different kettle of fish altogether. For the general person training for body recomposition, you don't have to worry about the minute, intricate details that, funnily enough, the fitness industry in many cases love to impose upon you because it sells a certain supplement which you need for that intricate purpose, which is nonsense. And the way I like to project this is the physiology is not that sensitive. Again, this can relate to so many things. And I made a video about the protein hierarchy. And again, the intricacy of protein timing is not as important as the total amount of protein you intake through a day. And so my question to you is, what do you think of his video? And talking of fashion, it's simple, Aaron. You don't need a YouTube channel. Black hoodie always. Nailed fashion. This is Shredded Sports Science. Thank you so much for the support I receive. Thank you so much for the people who watch it. I greatly appreciate it. I'll see you soon.